There's this whole other side of arcade gaming that I have left out so far. There's all the gimmicks that a machine may be built upon to pique your interest as an arcade gamer back in the day. Look, that game is made of a car! But that's just the American arcade gaming. Take a trip overseas and the words WTF can't begin to describe what's going on over in Japan. I know they like certain things that distinguish themselves from us, such as panties, big bouncy boobs, schoolgirl outfits, sexual debauchery. Wait, no. They're exactly like us Americans after all. Indeed! Yep. So I'm going to tackle a Japanese arcade game. No, I've never actually been there, and this was never released in the US, but I played it. How did I play it? This is not how I did. This will just have to remain a secret. Shh. This episode is going to get strange. It's one thing when I'm adding the weirdness, but it's another when the game is a truckload of odd and unexplained insanity right off the bat. It's just so mind-boggling to try to decipher. So I'm going with it because regardless of whatever it is that is going on here, I enjoyed this game a ton. Sexy Parodius. Half this game wasn't translated as I played it, but maybe we can figure out what's going on here from the characters you can choose. A spaceship, a flying penguin, a bunny girl on a missile, a fish, a flying pig, a stick figure on a paper airplane, a blob with eyes, and a little pink robot-looking man. I'm currently at a blank. What about some of the bosses? An ear of corn, a penguin with a toilet on its head, Medusa, Candy, a raccoon with a gigantic nutsack. As you can see, the common grounds amongst these things are all beyond astounding. It all makes perfect sense! Sexy sense? I'm told I'm a creative person, and I feel almost as if I'm way too creative for the amount of material in this game. Is it going to be an extended episode today, however? Not unless I collect this green bell, which makes things bigger. I call it the Cialis bell. You're welcome for that. There's just so much going on here. The plot is simple. Here's a task completion agency as far as I can tell. This show doesn't have a budget for Japanese translator. At the beginning of each stage, you're charged with a task. You will try to complete this task as you go through the level of like, let's just say if you were to cut out a bunch of random stuff from magazines and comics and overlay it on top of a space shooter. That's basically what you're going to get here. As far as the history of this franchise, I can summarize it as only knowing this. Konami goes and makes Gradius, and it's a great game. I had it on my Nintendo back in the day. But as time goes by, Konami decides to parody said game. They call it Parodius. This one happens to be the 5th in said series, but this is the one I played the most. But the thing is, these games are fun. They may make no sense at all, but no one told you to bring your brain to the arcade every time you went. Just have fun and enjoy. Plus, you'll see stuff here you won't ever see in another arcade game. Seriously, here's a panty monster. A sexy panty monster? But it's not just Gradius that they're parodying. Oh no, there's many nods to many Konami franchises as you play through. There's even a little one to Castlevania in the music at one point. I do agree with every gamer online. Castlevania is one of the best inventions society has ever witnessed. Not Lords of Shadow. Sure, this is just a tiny little riff from Castlevania, but since you're going into a haunted house to kill mice, it only makes sense that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. There, hold on. I was thinking again. I'm gonna not do that for the rest of this episode. Apple cob pot over Labrador wrench camping tree shot and Freud pants jalopy as my hound chutney slurpy needle. Stop. I guess I have to give this a minimum of thought for the sake of the 3 R's. Reading, writing, and comprehension. The missions in this game range from collecting coins to destroying a said number of certain things, or even adding time to a clock that's ticking down. It's interesting variety, but the levels themselves can get pretty hard as you go along and do these missions. However, usually the boss battles could help you by giving you some of what you need. But don't get too comfortable. The boss battles are on a time limit. This is an arcade game after all. A sexy arcade game. From doing these missions, it will affect something that Konami has been a huge fan of since Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood. Branching paths. If you finish a mission objective, you get a different level after that than if you didn't. That's right, replayability is here and I don't mind at all. I did say this was the 5th in the Parodius series. Will I go back and do the others? Maybe, but there's a good chance I won't. They are all great, but it's pretty much the same in every game. Unexplained madness designed to surprise you and you shoot at it from a spaceship or other odd things. I would say that any version of this deserves a quarter. If you think too much, then stay away from it. I don't want you to get overthinking yourself into a stroke. I love most to all of the music here. It's all catchy and recognizable stuff, mostly upbeat public domain tracks that you've heard somewhere before. Every song is used at the right moments in the game. Parodius fans will recognize the theme at some point as well. Are there moai statues and penguins? There's plenty of that. Hell, a past boss makes his appearance and his big move? Throw power-ups at you. I guess no one would ever guess that was coming, right? This particular version of the series was released in Japan arcades in 1996 and hit the PlayStation and Sega Saturn the same year. The PSP got it 11 years later. But versions of this game span across many consoles, from the original Nintendo to the Wii U Virtual Console. But lastly, why is this game called Sexy Parodius? Honestly, I haven't a clue. Arcade past, let's make it last.